So this is our review of the China National Games from 56 to 85 kilograms. So we're going to start off with the 56 kilo category. So both of us were wrong when we came to our predictions. The person that won was Li Fabin. He had a 287 total.
Overall, this category was a bit less competitive than we expected. We already knew that Long was out, so that kind of opened the field a bit, with Li Fabin winning with a 132 snatch.
好的，有了，132公斤，这也是过去这么多年来啊，李发斌
and a 155 clean and jerk.
调整一下，收稳，有了，好嘞，287公斤，排到第一位了。
I think by the national standards, that's not super impressive.
What was definitely surprising is that our favorite Wu Jingbao, he didn't have the heaviest snatch, so he only snatched 130, which was his opener, and in his clean and jerk, he only clean and jerked his opener, which was 153, which looked very comfortable, and he missed 158 on the jerk recovery.
翻起来，全力向上，撑住，撑住，撑住，撑住，哎呦
Just looked like he was off balance, or it was a long recovery too, so.
Yeah, for sure. Like, he jerked it and he held it behind his head, but he just couldn't recover.
So I think Li Fabin really won just based on making lifts. He went 4 for 6.
Yeah, which is pretty good.
Which is good, and compared to his competitors, if you look at the clean and jerks in the top 4 guys, pretty much he's the only one that made more than one attempt. Wu Jinbiao, he didn't have the lead from the snatch, so that made it a bit tough for him to come back from that.
Yeah.
Men Chang, he tried 160.
Yeah, it was an admirable attempt at 160, so he cleaned it and it was a pretty tough clean. He ended up missing the first jerk, but on the second jerk, he pressed it out. And it's a funny video because after he presses it out and he gets the red lights, he's in total disbelief that he actually presses it out and he doesn't get the white lights.
Yeah.
So he should definitely watch a review of this video so he can tell that he pressed out both elbows.
When I first started weightlifting, someone gave me the advice that the more you thought you pressed it out, the more you should celebrate. But that's usually before you get red lights, so maybe he was trying to persuade the jury to do a review.
翻起来，哎呦，坏了，左肘有屈伸了，左肘有屈伸了，两盏红灯，两盏红灯。
No, I would say that it was definitely the most disappointing session. I thought this would be the second most competitive session, to be honest, and it wasn't. No one really rose to the occasion, like you said. One thing that you have to commend is everyone in the top 4, so Li Fabin, Wu Jingbao, Meng Chen, and Long Chen, all of them took attempts to try to overthrow who was the leader. So it's a good mentality that they know that all they want to do is win. So with the 62 kilo category, the winner of this session was Chen Lijun.
He had a really consistent day. He only had to take 5 lifts. He ended up snatching 148 and clean and jerking 173 in his second attempt.
好的，有了。这样一来的话，总成绩再上5公斤，达到。
Yeah, and then passed his 3rd attempt because he was already quite in the lead, 8 kilos above the second place guy who had, finished his clean and jerks long before.
A lot of people were a little bit disappointed with Chen Lijun at the Olympics because he had a cramp and wasn't able to finish the snatch. But if you look at 2015 and this last competition, he is relatively consistent, going 5 for 5 and 5 for 6 at Worlds.
He's one of those guys that that he always has that world record clean and jerk and total kind of in his wheelhouse. So it's just too bad that he didn't feel like putting on that kind of a show.
Yeah. Well, if China does go to Worlds this year, it's only a couple months away, so maybe just tapering.
And what about the other kind of favorites coming into this session?
So our other favorite that we had was Zheng Jie. Unfortunately, he bombed out with in the snatch with 3 attempts at 141. He did not end up clean and jerking because there's no points. The other individual that is a world champion was Ding. So he ended up snatching 140 and clean and jerking 160. So only a 300 kilogram total, not anything spectacular.
So moving on to the 69 kilo category, I think everyone was, really hyped for this session, and I think it lived up to the expectations.
Yeah, for sure. It was Liao Hui's comeback comp.
I know in the Chinese media, they're really hyping up the fact that there's 3 Olympic champions competing in this session. Liao Hui is always a fan favorite, and of course Shi Ziyong feels like he has something to prove because now that Liao is back. Just going over the results, it turns out China's top 69 lifter at this time is Shi Ziyong. He finished with a 358 total, just 1 kilo down from the world record total. That is held by Liao Hui, of course. And Liao Hui finished with 354, and then going down the list, then the totals start to drop a bit more. Qiao Ningbo, one of our dark horse picks, finished with 338.
We're only going to discuss the top 2 lifters. They both had 350 plus totals, and you guys are probably here to see what we have to say about them. So starting off with Shi, so his original snatch opener was 158, but after Feng Ludong missed his opener at 157, he decided to move up to 160. Opening with 160 was definitely an aggressive move because he missed his first 2 attempts and ended up hitting it on his third.
程度齐，哎。
Whereas Liao opened with 160 and made it on his first attempt.
漂亮。
After he missed the 160, and then Liao made that, I think that put a lot of pressure on him, and you could tell after the second 160 he started to look really nervous, but when he made the third one, Shi Ziyong, he's one of those lifters. I think one of the reasons a lot of fans really like him is because he kind of wears his heart on his sleeve. He really displays a lot of emotion when he's lifting. If a lift is easy, he'll let you know that it was easy. And if a lift was hard and he made it, he'll let you know. And you could tell that he was really relieved. That was the sense that I got with his 160.
For sure.
Even when he's just recovering.
Yeah, as soon as he locked it out, he knew he had it.
Yeah.
And when he was standing up, he was already screaming. Liao Hui's second attempt was supposed to be 163, but after Shi made his third attempt at 160, he dropped it to 162. His second attempt, he ended up missing out front, and his third attempt, he missed it out behind.
Being the snatch world record holder at 166, that's a pretty small jump for him. So I think both of them did open quite high.
For sure.
I think that part of that was to put pressure on one another. And I think in this case, Shi Ziyong actually did succeed, even though it took him his third attempt to make that lift. Just pressuring Liao Hui to open also that high and take 3 heavy lifts on the platform, I think worked in his favor. And Liao Hui was probably also trying to account for that by taking smaller jumps, but unfortunately it just wasn't there.
Moving on to the clean and jerks. So Liao's original opener was supposed to be at 190, but Shi's listed opener was at 193. So Liao increased his opener to 194.
He changed it to 194, and then basically that put out Shi at 193. There was no lifters in between them. So I think that could have been a strategic move.
This happened at 2016 China Nationals as well, where he forced Shi to come out a little bit early, and he basically opened a kilo behind, or a kilo higher than Shi.
The world record clean and jerk is 198, which is Liao's record. So for anybody, these are crazy high openers. Looking back at all their competitions, for these 2 lifters, these are the highest openers that either of them have taken.
Yeah, I think Shi ended up winning the Olympics with 190.
Liao Hui, he usually takes pretty big jumps on the clean and jerks.
So after Shi makes his opener at 193, it looked very, very comfortable. Cleans it very easily and squat jerks it no problem.
翻起来了，看上送，升稳起，好的，漂亮。
Liao Hui comes out and takes his 194 opener. So when he opens with 194, the clean actually looks pretty tough. It crushes him a little bit, and he ends up doing a double bounce to get out of it. And usually I would say out of the clean and jerk, or between the clean and the jerk for Liao, I think his jerk is a little bit better. But with the 194 jerk, it looked like he pressed it out a little bit, and he did get 1 red.
翻起来了，看上平， 撑稳，撑稳，收，收，好的，漂亮，漂亮。
He's obviously good at all of the lifts, but even though his cleans sometimes like it doesn't look as technically proficient as some of his teammates, it never looks heavy, right?
That's
like,
true. Yeah.
He never the recovery never looks heavy, but on this one, I mean, he had a double bounce. Like it's not like a fast recovery, especially when you compare it right after Shi Ziyong's 193, and the jerk was. You know, just not what we're used to seeing.
I would say out of all the people on Yujia's team, Liao has or had the best jerk.
Second attempts, I think Shi Ziyong bumped it up to 198 right away, and then Liao Hui didn't make that big jump right away, but then there was a nice little moment in kind of the waiting area before going on the platform where Shi Ziyong is sitting right next to Liao, and then the announcer said that Liao Hui's second attempt would be 199, and Shi Ziyong was going to go for 198 on the second attempt, but when the announcer said that, he gave Liao a kind of interesting look. Shi Ziyong came out to take that. I mean, it's a clean and jerk that equals the world record, and it looked pretty easy.
Yeah, he smoked that.
198公斤，这是平世界纪录的成绩。 起，哇，漂亮
I think we can expect that world record might fall soon.
Liao Hui did take 2 attempts that exceeded the world record, and that would have been a national record at 199.
The first attempt, he missed the clean, which was actually the only second time I've seen Liao Hui miss a clean. The last time he missed a clean was at the 2016 Nationals, where he missed 202. And this time, he racked it, but it was just really hard to stand up, and he misses it. On his third attempt at 199, he cleans it, also a very difficult clean, and he kind of just does a jerk start and looks very frustrated.
翻起来了，全力向上，哎。 尽管没有起来这一把，但
She still had his last attempt and took out 200, and that would have been a national record, clean and jerk, and total record.
哇，翻的还是挺轻松的，看上挺，撑稳，哎呦，有点可惜啊，有点可惜。
And obviously the reason he took 200 is because he wanted Liao Hui to finish his attempts first, and since they did actually end on the same snatch, if Liao Hui did make one of those 199 attempts, Shi Ziyong would need 200 to take the lead. The clean looked pretty easy in my opinion.
Oh, it was very easy, yeah. She looks very comfortable cleaning. Even the jerk, I don't think it was that far off from a make.
It didn't look like a heavy jerk attempt, but just being off that small amount is enough to miss it in the hole like he did.
Yeah, and to be honest, she can save it for later since he is the champ right now.
Yeah. So neither Liao or Shi Ziyong were able to hit new records, but it was very competitive and obviously an entertaining session.
Yeah, I would say it was the most entertaining session that we've seen so far. And I also think that this signals it's Shi's time.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people kind of were wondering what type of shape Liao Hui would be in. He did announce that he would be retiring last winter, and of course he came back from that, and we did not know what to really kind of how to take his performance at the qualifier for this, but I mean, these are very solid numbers that are close to his previous like international competition type numbers. And we've received some information from a source very close to both of these lifters that both Shi Ziyong and Liao Hui were snatching in the range of 170 and clean jerking in the range of 205 in the training leading up to this competition. So even within kind of internally, everyone knew that this would be a very close battle, and whoever came on top, you know, it would be a really significant step towards their future career.
Yeah, I think that since this is the first serious comp in this new quad leading up to 2020, this would have set the tone for the entire 4 years to come.
Yeah. Even the commentators during the broadcast commented that Liao Hui, his result at this competition would likely be a very large factor in determining what he was going to do with the rest or for the next quad. They mentioned that since he won the last 2 national games, and this is his 3rd national games, if he won this title, he would likely continue competing until the 2020 Olympics. But if he did not win the title, then he would likely retire. Now, I'm not sure what the significance is of winning this 3rd title to extending that all the way to the Olympics, but perhaps they had some type of inside information. And
I think it might have just been a confidence thing as well, right? So we heard that in December that Liao Hui was going to make a comeback and try to go for 2020, but if he's not going to be the best in China and not going to be the one to go in 2020, it might just have an effect on him mentally.
Another thing to note is that a lot of the crowd there were actually big Liao Hui fans. So I think that maybe part of it is because he knows that he's still a very kind of prominent figure in the sport. I think another thing to consider is that for Shi Ziyong, this is going to be a huge confidence boost, because I think this is the first national competition of significance that Shi Ziyong actually outlifted Liao Hui straight up.
When they both totaled,
Yeah.
Absolutely, I think so.
Because from what we know about Shi Ziyong and some of the things that he said, it always seemed like he was a little bit in the shadow of Liao Hui, even when he was representing China. When they were competing at the Olympic qualifiers last year, and Liao Hui beat him, Su Zhiyong did say that he was actually happy with the result, just to be within a kilo of the lifts of Liao Hui.
Yeah, we had our contact talk to Shi right before the competition actually, and wished him good luck, and his response was he was going to win, which was, I guess, kind of a different song than what we're used to.
Even before the Olympics, before Liao Hui was removed from eligibility, our correspondent asked him if he was going to be going to the Olympics, and he was not very confident in his response. He said, "I'm not sure." This is obviously a different mentality from him. We've also seen it in the past too with, I almost call it like a big brother complex, where a lot of you may remember Liao Hui was seen in a video appearing to jerk 220 kilograms.
There was a lot of controversy surrounding that, for sure. Our correspondent asked Shi.
Shi Ziyong said that he has never seen Liao Hui jerk that, but that he 100%
Wouldn't be surprised.
And then he indicated because he himself can jerk 210 from the rack, as he showed in the video that he sent us, that he absolutely believed that Liao could do 220. So that kind of shows his mentality, but I think this will be a great confidence boost, and knowing that he can outlift Liao Hui in competition, given that Liao Hui is in good shape going into this meet.
Yeah. One other side note, talking about Shi's snatch. So we noticed that his stance is a little bit wider than in previous comps. So his stance, just starting off the ground, is a little bit wider. And we wonder if he's still trying to get used to this, but 160 is a big snatch regardless.
Yeah, and of course his stance is pretty asymmetric, as a lot of people have noted, but that's not really anything new. So moving on to the 77 kilo category, I think there was no surprise Lu Xiaojun was able to take the title again.
稳住，稳住，齐，好样的，漂亮，170，翻得相当轻松，稳住，哎，走，有了。
As far as the other lifters, I think it was a little bit disappointing. Even his teammate Zhong Guoshun, ended up in second place, but he didn't take his third attempt. And I think one of the reasons why is because he did require 13 kilo jump, up from 191. If he was to take an attempt at first place, and that might have just been, more than he thought he could make. And also the fact that they're teammates.
Yeah, and it's possibly lose last comp, so just throwing him a bone, and he'd probably miss anyways. Let's be real.
Commentators did mention that this might be Lu Xiaojun's last competition, He considered retiring after the Rio Olympics, but he did persevere to last at least until this competition, but this may very well be the last competition, and the commentators kind of said a few things about his legacy that implied that we might not see him again on the platform.
Yeah, Liu has done a lot for Chinese weightlifting, setting a number of snatch world records and total world records. But at the end of the day, he's 33 years old. It's time to move on.
Anything else stand out for you from this session?
One thing that was a little bit disappointing to me was Yuan Chengfei. He actually only hit his openers. He did not have a good showing, and we're not exactly sure why.
Finishing with 155 and then taking 3 attempts to make 190 on the clean and jerk. Those are below the lifts that we know he's capable of, so hopefully it's just an injury or a minor setback and something that he can come back from, because I do still think that he is one of those guys that has the potential to step up.
But the lifts that he did make, they did look relatively easy. I'm just not sure if his head wasn't into it or if something else was going on.
Yeah. And then Tang Jin, he's also a guy who we had some high hopes for, but he made 1 out of 6 lifts, snatched 150, and then missed the jerk 3 times on 190. So I'm not sure what else to say other than that was disappointing.
So moving on to the 85 kilogram category, the winner was, with no surprise, was Tan Tao with a 375 total. So I think that he just lifted what he needed to win. So he snatched 170.
非常轻松啊！只要这个发力点对了，发力。
Clean and jerk 205.
翻得非常轻松。到一个非常高位的一个半挺啊。
His clean and jerk at 205 was very, very easy. It looks like his clean looks as easy as usual, and his power jerk is looking a little bit more efficient than the squat jerk.
I mean, he jerked it. I mean, he caught the power jerk very high, but then interestingly, on his next attempt, he just decided to try to go for another national record clean and jerk with 222.
哇，翻得相当轻松啊！送起来，哎呀，有点偏了。
It looks like the weight just kind of pushed him down into a full squat jerk, and he wasn't able to succeed.
I'm not sure if he actually made the conscious decision to try a squat jerk. I don't think that's the case.
And then 223 was unsuccessful as well.
翻起来了，看上送。哎呀，可惜啊，没有能够打破自己保持的。
But I mean, it is good to see, even though he took the category and won handedly, that he still wants to put on a bit of a show for the audience and viewers.
And 223, he did try to power jerk that. And all these cleans, I think Tian Tao is probably the world's best cleaner. He makes all his cleans look very, very easy. The one thing that we didn't mention in the snatch, Liu Xiaowen, he actually won the snatch with 171. Unfortunately, he missed that attempt in the worst way possible as he got timed out and that attempt did not count.
Yeah. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things...
Training make.
Okay. And then lastly, the 94 kilo category. Liu Hao won. Snatched 171, clean jerk 216. There you have it. No, you guys don't have to go and watch it. I don't think anyone was going to anyways.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch it.
So 105s and 105 pluses hasn't happened yet, but same thing, right?
Yeah, no one cares. Yeah, sorry for the people that do.
I feel like there was a lot of things that we can talk about, but just to not ramble on too much, which I feel like we kind of did in certain cases. But if there's other, peculiarities that you noticed and wanted us to talk about, or anything else just kind of surrounding any of these lifters, feel free to leave a comment. we can try to make some more of these videos in the future. And we just thought National Games was a good opportunity just to talk about some of these lifters and just share our opinions. But I think there's other things regarding like just weightlifting in general that that we might have, planned in the future.
Yeah, for sure. We don't have that many viewers, but thank you for the love. We actually really appreciate it, and both of us are having a lot of fun making these videos. So thanks for watching.